Hi folks, it's Dr. E and I'm here with a video that I hope you might find useful or helpful when it comes to just generally being a student, especially in online courses. I find that with online courses especially, it can be overwhelming in terms of keeping track of your assignments and organizing all of the different work associated with those classes because more so than in-person classes, we have assignments, right? So I thought it might be helpful to kind of just touch base quickly. This isn't going to be a very refined or, a super exhaustive kind of discussion about the tools that are available to you as students at Lone Star, but hopefully it will be something that, is just a little bit helpful and clears up any confusion you may have or opens your eyes to, a resource that may be really, really useful. So what I'd like to discuss is the Microsoft 365 widget that we have here in our course area. We should all see this, and remember, this is email. So that's pretty straightforward. We're all familiar with email, I'm sure, but I want you to make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye on your email just in general, because you're going to definitely have professors who prefer to communicate that way, or the school will contact you about different events or opportunities. Hold on one second, let me cough. Sorry. So we have transfer fairs and job fairs and student organization meetings and online chats and, all these different, opportunities available to us at Lone Star College Online. But sometimes the way we are made aware of them is via email. So just keep an eye on that. This is your calendar. So if you have any meetings or things that you've agreed to, then you'll see those here and you'll see a number pop up. And what I really want to get into in this video is right here. And this is the icon for OneDrive. Now, some of you may be utilizing services like Google Docs or Dropbox or any kind of cloud service, which is great. You know that you're kind of one step forward in this game of organization. But I want every one of you, especially those of you who are not saving your documents in a cloud service, I want you to really consider utilizing OneDrive, because again, you have access to quite a bit of storage based on your enrollment in LSC. That's just part of what you get as a student. But it's also just an easy way to access, save, and organize your work. So I'm going to click on this link to go to the cloud service through Microsoft 365, which is OneDrive. And this is what it looks like. If you're like me, this view is just too much. Like there's stuff up here, and maybe this is how your brain functions, and great, that's awesome. Not me. So I like to look at the view that's called My Files right up here at the top. It just looks it looks less chaotic to my brain. So this is what it looks like. And this is, you have folders that you can assign. And I've been working with this. I don't work with OneDrive a ton because I utilize a different cloud service. But, just things that I've done for work and whatnot can be saved here. And up here you have different options. What I really want us to focus on is this right here, the create or upload. So if you click on the create or upload, you can create a folder. You can upload files. So if you already have files on your computer, and this is specifically for those of you who may be saving your items to your tablet or your computer, whatever kind of device you're using for school. I do this sometimes, but I really try to I guess be a little bit disciplined when it comes to my files, because it's just so easy to get overwhelmed with all that we do in online classes, with all I do as an online professor. I have to keep track of a lot of files. And if I save them to my computer, I have a work computer, I have a home computer because I, spend time at home doing so much of my work. It can be confusing. Like, oh, did I save it on this computer? Is it on this? I know that's a first world problem, but I'm just trying to, really emphasize the fact that file organization for us is just important. So if you have a habit of downloading directly to your device, now is the time to kind of start changing that for especially your schoolwork. So you'll want to start utilizing a cloud service because it keeps everything. If you have a problem with that device, if you get locked out of it, if something happens to it, it gets a virus or any of those kinds of things, you can access this from any computer. You can access this by logging into your Lone Star student account from anywhere. So it's taking a precaution, but it's also helping you, stay organized and keep all of your information in one place, right? So if you need to, go to File, Upload, and this will give you a place like you'd go and search, your computer for whatever the case may be, and then you upload the file. And then if you want to upload a whole folder, you can do that as well. And you'll see from the drop down here, we also have, access to the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite. So this, if those of you who use Google Docs, this should look pretty familiar because it's the same options. You can use Excel, PowerPoint, all of that online. So if we want a Word document, it will open, and this is not the full and complete version of Microsoft Word. So I always tell students, download the full version. You have access to software downloads through OTS, so you can go to the D2L and Tech Help module within our D2L course, and you can find all of that information. So here, you have a document. And then where do you go from here, right? So it's easy to get lost in these kinds of things. So you should have a tab open at the top of your screen to take you back to your files in OneDrive, but you can also utilize, the options here. So this is called the waffle. Anyhow, so you can click around and through the different, options that you have. You can click back to OneDrive. You can go to Microsoft Word Home up here. So I'm just going to click OneDrive to go back. Okay, and you'll see that the document I just opened and didn't do anything with is still saved. So it's auto-saving as you go, which can also be really helpful so you're not losing information anywhere. So I'm going to go back to that view that I had my files, just so everything looks organized and whatnot. I want to show you how to create or upload a folder. Now this is really specific to our class, right? Why not create a folder to keep all of your files for a single course together, especially if you're taking multiple online classes? Like, this is a way that will just help you in the future. You're doing your future self a favor by doing this. So I'm just going to click folder, and and you can play around with colors. You can name this whatever you want, right? So I'm just going to click. Okay, so you see here, I've color coded. So I'm going to go into this, and it's empty, but this is where you can start uploading your assignments. If you want to keep a copy of our syllabus here, if you want to keep a copy of our course schedule here, everything is right here for you, okay? It's just, again, one place to, keep all of your files organized. I'm going to go back, and so remember this document here, so I clicked home. So this can be something, for our course. And if you go up to the top here, one other thing I really want to drive home is the idea of naming your files in a useful way. This truly helps with organization. This will help us avoid accidentally uploading the blank template for an assignment, which happens every semester in every single class, which I get, right? We're downloading it. We're downloading it probably to our device. We're perhaps not renaming it. It's just we're trying to get the work done and submit it. And that's understandable. But it's pretty easy and quick to rename a document. So you just click on this little down arrow here and you can name it whatever you want. I'm not going to rename it just yet because I want to show you the different options and how easy it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to OneDrive, not to be confused with OneNote, OneDrive. Excuse me. So here's that document. All right. So I'm just going to go over to the ellipses or the ... here. And I'm going to click, whoops. Oh, for pity's sake. Stand by. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so from here, we actually want to go to Files and scroll down. And remember, you can look at the time or the date that it was modified. You can even change it so that you have it set up for the newer things to the older things. So this is the file I was talking about. I'm going to click the ellipses here. I'm going to scroll down and rename it. No ellipses. Okay, so then you can update it. Okay, So whatever name, right? And then you can actually take it and move it to a different file, right? So it's just drag and drop. I'm going to drop it in that folder. You know, it's working on it, it's moving it. Here it is. You can work with it, right? So, and it'll save as it goes. The one last thing I really want to get into is the idea of uploading to D2L for assignments. This is a place that gets tricky because D2L doesn't necessarily allow you to directly load work from Google Docs, or a lot of times you have to download your work to your device to then upload it to D2L. OneDrive is really helpful about this. So if we go to a course and we go to our assignments area in that course, I'm just going to click on the first thing, right? So week 1 mind map. So I'm clicking on that, it's opening, right? Okay, we know it and we want to add the file, right? Upload the file. So you can look for it on your computer, which is typically what, we will do if we're not using something like OneDrive. But what we can also do, excuse me, is click OneDrive files here because it's all integrated into our course, right? So it's going to go to OneDrive, it's going to find those things, right? It's going to find those things that have been, identified, and then you just click on something and then you add it, right? So again, this is adding some ease to the way that you're functioning and the way that you are keeping yourself organized. So it's really helping you focus on keeping your files in a single place, making sure you're naming them appropriately and easily, and making it one step easier for you to actually upload your work into D2L because you can't necessarily do that directly from Google Docs, right? Okay. I hope this has helped. I hope this is something that you'll consider kind of playing around with, clicking around with in D2L, doing what you need to do to be as successful as possible. Remember, if you go to the content area, there is that D2L and tech help. So there are how-to videos about Google Docs, about how to, work with files, saving them in different ways. There's a direct link to the virtual learning VLAC, the Virtual Learning Assistance Center, a direct link to OTS. So everything is here, and hopefully you'll take advantage of those resources. But if you have questions, I may not be the person to reach out to. That may be OTS, but if you reach out to me, we can work on it together. Or again, you can go directly to OTS and you can even chat with them. So, all right, good luck. Take care.